Today we are going to go on a virtual field trip to learn more about explorers that came from Europe to America. The first explorer we're going to learn about is Christopher Columbus. So to begin, you need to click over here on this place marker, Columbus's starting point, and we'll zoom in there. Christopher Columbus came from Spain. And so to begin, you're going to need to click on this link right here, and I already have it pulled up. I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this, and it has a bunch of information about Christopher Columbus, who he was, why he decided to sail, different obstacles he faced. I also want you to watch this video right here and learn a little bit more about what Christopher Columbus did. So once you've done that, go back to Google Earth. The next thing I'll need you to do is click on 360 cities right here. So you can click on that, it'll take you there. Then click on this link, view this image on 360 cities. Click on that, and it'll take you to something like this. Feel free to click out of the advertisements. So this is a really neat feature because you can zoom around and see this area in 360. So you can see what Spain looked like. I wanted you to get an idea of where Christopher Columbus lived and what the climate was. And there's some other vantage points you can go to. You can click on different areas. It'll take you there. You can see the ocean, other things like that. So take some time to look through this and get an idea of where Christopher Columbus lived. Obviously, there weren't these buildings or those boats or these sidewalks in the same way, but he probably saw a lot of similar rocks and plants and things like that. Okay, so next you can click up here on back to Google Earth. We're going to look at Columbus's path. So double click on that. You can see this big red mark is where Columbus went. And you probably noticed that there's a big map in the background, and this map is a map that I found online that demonstrates the path that Christopher Columbus took. And we're just focusing on how long the path was from Europe to the Americas, but you can see on this map how Christopher Columbus turned around and went back to Spain and the things that he did that way. So once you've zoomed out a little bit, come up here to the top, and there's a tiny icon that looks like a ruler. Click on that, and we're going to measure how long Christopher Columbus's path was. So you do that by clicking on there and clicking different points throughout. Make sure that it's on the Path tab so that it adds up everything that we're doing. So continue to click on that, and you're going to find out how long Christopher Columbus's path was. I'm not going to finish it because I want you to do it on your own. So once you found that out, write that down on your piece of paper because you want to be able to remember how long Christopher Columbus's path to the Americas was. Okay, so the next explorer we're going to learn about is Amerigo Vespucci, and he went after Christopher Columbus. And here is a fun video that explains what Amerigo Vespucci's purpose in going to the Americas was. So you might be surprised to learn some new things. So click on that and watch that video. And he was born in a place called Seville. And we're going to zoom in there. Actually, he was born in Italy, but he lived in Seville when he started exploring. So on this, there's a picture right here, and it had a lot of really neat pictures of Seville and Spain. And so I wanted you to look through, and while you're looking through these pictures, think about what might have changed since Amerigo lived here and what might be the same. Just think about that. So you're going to have to scroll down a little bit, and you can just click through. You can see there's 256 pictures. Don't click through all of them. Just click through some, get an idea of what it looks like. And then we'll need to measure out how long his path was as well. So we're going to zoom out again. you can use this tool to turn the Earth so it's facing the way you want. You can use this up here to rotate it so it's going right side up, at least to us. You don't want to zoom out too much. So get that ruler again, and remember, have it on the Path tab, and measure his path and keep track of how long that was. Alright, the next thing we're going to click on is Plymouth, England. That's the next group that traveled to the Americas that we're going to study. That was the Pilgrims who came over on the Mayflower. And they left from Plymouth, England, which is right here. So you can zoom in. If you'd like, you can zoom in even further and get an idea of what it looks like today. Obviously, it's changed a little bit since when the Pilgrims came over. So the first thing we're going to do this time is measure the path that the Mayflower was on, because everything we're going to do this time is going to be in America. So go ahead and zoom out like you've done before. Measure that path with the ruler and keep track. And you're going to compare those three paths and see who traveled the farthest. So next you're going to click right here on this place marker that's called Plymouth Rock. Double click so we can zoom in. And this is in Massachusetts, in the United States. So click on, just like last time, click on this link, and we can learn more about the Pilgrims and the journey that they took. And I have that pulled up so you can see what it looks like. It looks like this. So you're just going to click on these little spots and learn more about what happened on their journey. Once you've done that, there are a couple other things I want you to look at that I found that were interesting. People always refer to Plymouth Rock, and I thought you might be curious to see what that meant. So here's a picture of something that they call Plymouth Rock, and then there's an article right here that you can start to read, and you can learn if did the Mayflower really stop on the rock, or why is this so important to Americans? Why do people care about it so much? So read this article and you can find that out. Okay, so once you're finished, you need to compare the paths of the three different groups of explorers and think about how the world has changed and how the world is similar, and how these journeys were similar and how they were different, and what their different purposes were. And you have a graphic organizer that there will be questions that you'll be answering throughout the journey, and it'll make sense. But hopefully from this lesson you can learn about the different explorers that came to America.